Well, I was a minister within the in the Methodist Church to start with, and then when the Uniting Church came into the scene, which was 1977, I went into the Uniting Church, and I had to retire in the middle of 1987 because of my hearing being the way it was.
I first noticed he was going deaf when he was about 27, but it was on a limited amount before that, but became more obvious. And it's gradually got worse and worse and worse.
In the late 1950s, early 60s, I got a hearing aid, one of these body-worn things, and when it wore on, scrooge, 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 scrooge. I found it pretty unsatisfactory. So in 1967, I had a stapedectomy on my right ear, and it worked wonderfully well for a while, but then by degrees it became less and less efficient. I was withdrawing and not wanting to go here, not wanting to go there, and backing off and feeling, well, disappointed with myself, I suppose, feeling pity, oh, poor old me, sort of an attitude.
Before we just didn't talk very much. It was easy not to talk.
Got worse and worse to the point where in the middle of 1987 I had to retire.
I became quite frustrated sometimes, and I was inclined to say, I'll forget it. But I knew that that wasn't what he had to do, and I would make a point of getting in front of him so he could use these lip-reading skills that he was working on.
But then I thought, well, now what's the option? And the option is to live in a world of quietness for the rest of my life. And I hope to live for some years to come. And so I thought I'd better take the plunge for better or worse. And the point came where the audiologist said, look, there's nothing more we can do for you. I'll give you a letter of introduction to a Professor Gibson in Sydney, and he'll tell you what the options are. In 2001, in April, I had the right ear done, and a similar kind of thing happened with regard to hearing in my left ear. The audiologist said, look, you only got about 7% of hearing in your left ear. I think it might be worth your while to start thinking about whether you would be willing to have a cochlear implant in your left ear. So here I am with 2 cochlear implants. In my right ear, a Sprint 3G, on my left ear, a Nucleus Freedom. When I had the processor fitted and switched on, amazing, wonderful, incredible. I was astonished at what a difference it began to make, and I felt it was going to make for me. And well, it's talk about you got to see it to believe it. You got to hear it to believe it. With regard to cochlear implants,
because we're in a retirement village, the local setup has a hostel. Keep your hand down. A hostel, and we go over and spend a lot of time over the hostel amongst the elderly people there. I think the most important thing is the kiosk for us, because we meet so many people. Bern comes over, and between the two of us we run the kiosk for a day, 4 hours at a time.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, John? How are you, John?
Good to see you. I can't remember to see you last time.
I'll take the bottom.
Oh, right.
You want to change?
Put on the list. Okay, then.
Thank you very much.
We can do a lot more things together now than before. I wouldn't. He didn't want to go to meetings, and he didn't want to do this, and he didn't want that, or coming in contact with people. Now he can go in quite freely and converse with them.
It's made life ever so much more enjoyable, fulfilling, I guess you could use that word as well. Well, sort of I opened the door of communication ever so much wider than it used to be before, because it was very restricted before. And how am I feeling now? Well, hopeful that the years in front of me are going to be a lot different and a lot better than the years that are behind me, being in the world of the deaf.
Now he'll hear, for instance. He can pick up the phone and answer without any problem at all. And I don't know there's been any time that he hasn't got the message right.
On the 23rd of April. Right you are. See you later. No. I can talk to our daughter. My wife sometimes says, do you want to talk to Rosalind? And I say, well, part of it, but the other part is I'll enjoy listening to her. Well, one of my hopes is to live to be 100 years of age, because my grandfather wasn't. If he could, I don't see why I shouldn't give it a go. Dreams, one of the dreams that might be fulfilled is being able to hear music. I'm ever so much closer to being the normal person that I ought to be, an extrovert person, enjoying a bit of fun whenever there's a bit of fun, or manufacturing a bit of fun if there's none, and I reckon there ought to be some. Would I recommend a cochlear implant to other people? From my own experience, I'd say it's worth it, mate. You go for your life.